evening and good evening. Happy New Year. All that good thing, all of that good stuff in between. This is our first segment of the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul in 2026. Woohoo! We are here. And reason we're here because today you're going to learn a little bit about color and aromatherapy from our special guest here, Sherry Steine, who's a certified aromatherapist. Listen, back in the spring of 2025, I had a wellness brunch and she has explored me with different things about color that I never thought about in color. So it is very amazing. She has a new book that is out here, is in color, in scent, I Settle, a journal of aromatherapy and color breathing rituals for inner peace. So welcome, Sherry.
Well, thank you, my dear friend. It's a joy to be here.
Yes, I am excited about this because listen, I am telling you, when you did our thing, our wellness brunch last year, and you had all the little aromatherapy scents and different things. I have looked at color in so many different ways now, and then never thought about. We talk about scents and we smell scents every day. Some good, some bad. But to really deep dive into there's really meaning behind scents and from your new book. So the first question I have for you is what inspired you to create this in color and scent and I settle, and what does the phrase I settle means?
All right. Well, thank you again for the opportunity to be here to talk about this first book that I have written in 9 years. So I'm like really celebratory about that. So this book was born 3 years ago. And it was a result of my studies in aromatherapy and my past life as a color therapist and professional color consultant in my interior design world. And I also studied color psychology. So all of these things I meshed together, and it was an inspiration in looking at one of my mentors' journals where she had all of these watercolors and just little prompts and things here and there. And I said, wow, I would love to do that. And I just kind of said, a lot of people don't know about how essential oils, right, have color signatures. And then as I started researching all of this as an aromatherapist, I'm also a yoga therapist as well. So I'm an advanced yoga teacher, over 500 hours, and also a breath coach, so to speak. We call it in Sanskrit pranayama. So it's breath work for nervous system regulation. And so I basically took everything that I have learned to date about color, scent, and yoga and put it together in color and scent I settle. And when I say I settle, it's not about giving up, it's about down regulating our nervous system and helping our nervous system move to a vigilance of safety. And it's really based on what they call the polyvagal theory by Stephen Porges. And some people may be listening, may be familiar with this, some may not. But you have your sympathetic state, which is your fight or flight, right? Then you have your dorsal state and your ventral state. And those different states are more about, one is more about freeze, right? You are so stressed in your life that you just kind of get into this point where you're like, oh, I can't move, I can't do anything. I'm just here. And then you have, the sympathetic, which is fight or flight and all of that. And then you have more of your parasympathetic state where you come into an evenness with your nervous system. So I studied those as it relates to trauma, yoga, and I also studied those as it relates to various essential oils as well. So putting that information together with the oils and their color signatures was just really a fun uh, project. It was a creative project, and I finally was able to get it out. I've been talking about it for a long time. People who know me know I'm talking about this project, and I just like, okay, let's get it out. So yeah, that's how it all came.
I'm so glad that you gave out the scientific terms. When you talked about the polyvagal nervous system, I know that because of what I do in counseling sessions, and we talk about things to regulate.
Mm-hmm.
When you feel in the fight or flight, fight or flight, fear or whatever, or in the parts of you having anxiety, those calming effects. So that brings it all together, right? Because again, it's not about settling just to settle it. It's about how you working on your nervous system and the brain as well, and envisioning. And I'm glad that you explained that, because yes, there are some clinician stuff that is behind the work that we do in the realms of modalities and treatment modalities. I'm not going to go on that soapbox tonight, but
Right, I
some
understand.
people,
We go there when we.
yeah, yeah, because because just last week someone inboxed me about sound last week, but it's because of what a video that they saw, but they're not thinking about what I do in my profession. So but that's a whole nother
I got
theory there. So color and scent, because when you think about this book, I'm gonna tell you, thank you so much for sending it to me, because
you.
I called you the first when I got it. I said I got it, but I just dived right into it. But it makes me I just want the audience or whoever catch this tonight.
Yeah.
You were already doing this, maybe back in grade school, when you used to have those color markers with the scent.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
artist sketch. You were like, oh, give me this orange.
I never even thought about that, but yes, that is a great way to describe this.
Yeah, and I said I wanted you to know that it took me back to my memory of when again, sometimes we got to get into that childlike mode. And it
Yeah.
made me think about how we used to go to art class, and you would get that whole big thing with all those different colors, and you
Yeah.
would smell them. Oh, give me this one. What is this? Oh, this is apple. And then you would be trading it around. And it
Yeah.
was so much fun in that. But there's a theory behind that, because you were excited. So how did the color and scent become a central healing language in your work? I know you just gave you do aromatherapy, you do
Mm-hmm.
yoga, you talked about it, but how did this become like a central part? And I know you talked about essential oils, because it didn't. You do those as well. So let's.
Yeah. Okay. So, really, as I had mentioned earlier, the combination of the work I have done. Um, let's take color for example. Even when I was working as a color psychologist, as an interior designer, for example, I noticed how my clients would feel a shift with color. Okay. And how certain colors they were adverse to and certain colors they were attracted to. And then even take it all the way back to, childhood, as you just mentioned.
Mhm.
All of us grew up with a favorite color. Now, sometimes that favorite color changes as you grow older. Now, as midlife women, uh, we tend to be attracted to more brighter, more expansive colors, right? And we may be thinking now, well, why did I like that other color growing up? I really, for example, I love purple. Now, purple is always my favorite color, but I used to hate blue. I always thought that was like a masculine color. I think because I remember my brother loved blue, right? So, so I always thought, oh, that's a, you know. But the older I got, I really have appreciated blue. You know why? Because blue is one of those colors that both genders like. And
Mm.
that's why a lot of products and manufacturers use blue a lot. And blue is a trusting color. And it is a healing color as well. If you look on the back of my office here, this color is a blue. I picked blue for this cup for this particular room because it's cooling.
Yeah.
It's calming, just like green, right? So when we look at different colors and then we apply it to plant medicine, i.e., aromatherapy, it goes to an even different, deeper level, right? And the color signatures are not just what we think they are. Because as you walk through this book, as you had mentioned to me off camera, that there were certain aromatherapy essential oils that you've never heard of and so forth, you will find what I call a color signature attached to them. So, for example, I'm gonna say lavender. Okay, lavender. Its color signature is violet. You would think it would be a lavender, right? There are others like black pepper, which is a very strong essential oil. For example, its color signature is red. So, based on how the plant was distilled, the nutrients, the characteristics, and the contents of that plant that makes that essential oil, there are various colors that are pulled from that process that is associated as a healing color for that particular essential oil. Then, when you layer that with understanding breath work, okay, breath in and of itself is free. We use breath each and every day. We inhale, we exhale, whether we're inhaling through our nose and exhaling through our mouth or through our nose, we breathe every day. And COVID-19 taught us how important breath is in our lives. If you remember, I can't breathe, right? So that was something that I felt was really important because even in the work that we do as wellness professionals, I don't care what you're doing, uh, we're beginning to see where color, red light therapy and all these things are becoming more and more popular now. For a long time, you didn't see color kind of integrated in wellness. So if we take a color like violet and associated that with lavender, for example, and you use a little bit of lavender, putting it on your palms, of course, with a carrier oil. I'm very, very much into safety, right? Now, some of us that have been, working with these things can do that without carriers or oils, but I'm always going to tell you to do that. And then you rub it on your palms and then you cup yourself. Nice big inhale and exhale. And then close your eyes and just imagine the color violet. Inhale violet, exhale love or, comfort or whatever you want. So in this book, I use the colors and the essential oils with different rituals for wellness, whether it's using it in a bath, using it in a diffuser, using it, for example, in an inhaler, different rituals that you can use. Maybe you decide, hey, this week I'm going to work with clary sage. Okay. And for women, clary sage is what? Is a hormone regulator for women, particularly during menopause and all of those things, right? So the color therapeutics for clary sage is magenta and violet. Okay. And it means it's all about balance, tranquility, vitality, and vivid inner vision. So with this one, for example, the color breath practice is to inhale the magenta to soften and steady, and exhale any tension. And then inhale violet at the crown chakra, right? Crown chakra. And visualize obstacles clearing with awareness, bright and calming. So that's what this book does. It's all about coming in. There's even diffuser rituals. If you have a diffuser, you always use what kind of water? Michelle?
I'm gonna let the audience take in it. Whoever gets that in tonight, if put your vibes up there. What do you think? Which water do you use? You may get a prize from me.
Distilled.
Distilled.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. So you always use distilled water, and less is more, right? So it's 1 to 3 drops. Essential oils are very volatile. Yes. They're innocent. They're innocent, but they're volatile. They're very toxic. So you have to really be careful. And I always tell people, do a patch test if you're putting oils on your skin, for example.
Right.
But this journal is just a really great love. I also have rituals for spray mists. Putting a nice 2-ounce spray that you can use as part of your morning or daily ritual. And I keep it so flexible as to what you do with each of these rituals, and give the reader a choice. Maybe they work with 1 oil a week. Maybe they work with an oil a day. So it's a very flexible way of working with a ritual. And this being a new year, this is a great way to integrate this with part of your other rituals that you do each and every day, whether it's praying, meditating, chanting, whatever you do. Yes. This can be added.
Okay. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, as the word she said, that's going to move us into what she just said, integration and expansion. And this part, when she comes back, that's just going to come to people who are in some wellness practices. We're going to give out some tips. She's going to share some things about that. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Bolden Hammond. And right there, you just saw the information. So, we're going to tell you where you can get more information about my guest here, Sherry Steine. You can go right here and you can get all the information you need. Okay. So, again, it is info at sbwaligned.com. So, Sherry, the
Okay.
next question that we I'm gonna have for you is again, you talked about integration. I see some workshops. We're gonna talk out the sidebar like we do. We're gonna talk about I want to say I'm excited because Sherry is going to be one of our panelist speakers for our Anchored in Her Power women's retreat in Virginia Beach, March 26th through March 29th. So I'm waiting to see what's going to take place for that weekend. But as a wellness practitioner, how can coaches, doulas, and therapists, or any other type of wellness practitioner, how can they use this in their work?
Mm, that's a really, really good question because the way this book is written is for both beginners, practitioners, and you don't really have to be an expert in essential oils or have a prior, knowledge or so forth with this. So basically, practitioners can really deepen their relationship with these practices, with ritual, pacing, and nervous system attunement with themselves and their clients. So let's start with ourselves. We, as wellness practitioners, have to take care of ourselves because, of course, there are a lot of residuals when we work with our clients. So, this is a really great way to integrate some systems between meeting with clients and getting rid of ritual energy. For example, we what's in the book, one of these scents is Palo Santo, for example. Another is white sage, and both of those are very powerful essential oils to cleanse the body, mind, and spirit of negative energies. Okay, or energies that may be residual from a client or a situation. For beginners, for people who like to meditate, pray, all of those things, these are really great rituals to work with in looking at color therapy, color visualization, breath. Breath is always accessible to us, right?
Right.
The most immediate way to communicate safety to our nervous system, and it creates this container, so to speak, that doesn't overwhelm us, and it grounds us in experience. So, um, yeah, I would say that and if you're an aromatherapist or someone who's really into essential oils, it's just going to amplify the effectiveness of various essential oils that you use. And it also gives folks an opportunity to experiment with different oils that maybe they have not encountered before or never heard of before and want to learn more. So it's just a approach where folks can just start slowly, maybe pick an essential oil. There's, I don't know, uh, at least 50 or more essential oils in here, 50 or more practices, and just read slowly, get a feel for it. Start with your favorite essential oil or something that you're used to using, and just really choose that one scent and that one color in which that oil is associated with. Um, Not, rushing through it, just layering the process.
Mm-hmm.
And then let the curiosity lead instead
Mm-hmm.
of expectations. And then as you work with the oil and work with the practice, whether it's a what I call palm and hand ritual, which is placing the oil on your palms and then breathing in the colors and breathing out, or a room diffuser ritual, or a color bath ritual. That's one of my favorites. Um, Experience it, and then there's a place within the journal where you can write it down. And every journal prompt says, as you breathe with today's oil and visualize its healing colors, what sensations arise in your body, emotions, or thoughts? And there are other questions that this asks as well. And use it as a companion to your daily routine. And that's why I have it. It's, you're not going to find it as a, um, what do you call it, ebook, because I want you to write it down. I want you to use your pen. You know, the whole art of writing, not using a computer or using a screen,
Yes.
is just like, it feels like it's been archived. We need to do more writing and experimentation. So this journal invites you to do that, and invites you to use your senses of color and smell, and to be creative, whether you're doing a little spritzer spray, whether you're diffusing, whether you're putting it in a bath to really nurture yourself. And I tell you how to do that in a safe way. You never put essential oils in a bathtub without a carrier oil. Uh,
Sure.
so, these are things that you can
Mhm.
do to kind of create an experience, and then write it down. How did you feel after you experienced these things? What was it? What were some insights?
Yeah.
How did this work for you? And then you'll learn more about color at the same time, and scent, and how that works with your body, mind, and spirit.
All right. So, one last question that I think is a very good question before we get ready to close out. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, this was very good information. I will say, everyone, go get it. You heard it from me. I don't want to steer you wrong. She's absolutely correct. She is talking about, she gives you the color bath ritual, which is 3 5 drops, one tablespoon. She writes the recipes in here. So if you're trying to create, I hear so many people say, I can't get the sleep right. I need things to calm me down, to turn this brain off at night. This would be a great resource tool for you. So the one last question that I have, Sherry, for you is, if someone could choose one scent today to support their breath, because again, we talked about breath work is very essential. Our breath is our life. It
Yeah.
is our lifeline. And
Right.
I say we should look at color as the lifeline,
Right.
because even in other ways of religions and stuff, is always was the colors as well, to identify certain things, right?
Yeah.
So if someone was to choose one scent today to support their breath, what should they ask themselves first?
Hmm. That's a good one. You got me on that one. Oh, what should they ask themselves first? Okay. So I am going to say that, like color, smell, odor, those types of things can bring back memories, right? So I invite anyone to think about what scents they love. What do they love? And what kinds of scents do you love? Do you like florals? Do you like grounding earthy scents? Do you like um, anything in between, right? Or maybe you like more minty, methanol kinds of things like peppermint and spearmint. So to think about what are the scents that you like that makes you happy, that uplifts your spirit, and start with those. Okay. You know, for some people, it may be grapefruit, others, it may be lavender. Spinknard is a new one for me that I really enjoyed that scent. And then when I looked back and did some work on myself with, I'm going off on the tangent, but hang on there. With my astrology, for example, I realized that that was a powerful scent for me. And there may be some sense that you're intuitively drawn to. Lang is one that a lot of my clients enjoy that. That's a nice light floral scent. There's a lot of constituents in that scent that is uplifting and so forth. Orange, particular during this time of year in the winter. You know, we're dealing with seasonal affective disorder. The citruses are, you know, maybe something you're drawn to because it uplifts you, gets you out of
Mm-hmm.
this funk of
The
longer,
funk.
shorter days and longer nights, right?
Yes.
So I would start with that. You know, there's a sense that you always can be drawn to that you might have experimented with before, and then start there. Um, yeah, that's what I would say.
All right. So, again, everyone, for you who may want to learn more about Sherry and her wellness practices, or you have liked what you heard here today, here is where you can go and find her. Or you may want to book a workshop or something like that with her. Very good information, I say. Very good information. So,
And
Sherry, I want to say thank you so much for joining on the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. And you know, definitely this will not be your last time here. You will be back again
and
pretty
I
soon. Pretty
I
soon.
the listeners know and the viewers know, you can get this book on Amazon. It's only available on Amazon. So just find my name, Sherry Steine, or In Color and Scent I Settle, and the book is there. And it's only $15.99. It's not even $20. So, and these days that's what, maybe 2 or 3 coffees at Starbucks or whatever. So I invite you to get it and use it as part of your New Year rituals.
All right. Since we are at the end of tonight's show, I guess I want to thank you all my guests for tuning in. Share this video because again, it's some very good information. We have some new updates and things that'll be coming for. So I thank you again for coming back again to see us this year. And you know, we always leave with a mantra before we leave out from the show every week. So this week is moving from potential to purpose. So
Mm.
how are you moving? How are you moving? And if you are moving, make sure your steps are being aligned into your purpose. Again, if no one has ever told you that you're loved, know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Dr. Michelle Bowden Hammond. Until next week.